So hi, how do I say buonasera or yeah? Yeah, hi. So hi, my name is Ruby. I'm originally from the Philippines, but I'm now living in Oslo, Norway. So, so the topic though is using the React ecosystem with the first JavaScript framework with an O of 1 loading time. So, which essentially, uh, like what they just said, it's a quick dive into the sort of new framework called Qwik. Sort of because it has already now in the version 1 last May. And so yeah, so there's a lot of framework, front-end frameworks that competes for attention nowadays, right? So, and each one is its own merit, I believe. And of course, React is probably one of the most in-demand or popular frameworks out there. And I think this is probably one of the main motivations of the creators of Qwik when they decided to take advantage of the robust ecosystem of React. So, okay, so React celebrates its 10th anniversary this year. So despite strong competition from other frameworks, such as Solid, Vue, Svelte, and etc. So the React ecosystem continues to flourish with constant advancements, integrations, and innovations. So React is still one of the most widely used JavaScript libraries out there. And of course, React developers are still quite high in demand all over the world to build dynamic and high performance applications. But there is this little thing called hydration that is plaguing the current generation of front-end frameworks. And this thing is called hydration. So what is hydration? So, well, here's a definition I found by Googling it. So hydration is the process of providing water to an organism or cell. But in our world, or in our web development, hydration refers to the process of attaching event listeners to pre-rendered HTML markup on the client side, essentially turning our static HTML into a dynamic, interactive, and web application. So yeah, so this is a simple diagram of how hydration works in the web development. So to make our web page and elements interactive, so the browser needs to load and run JavaScript code, right? But during this time, users can see the elements but cannot interact with them or your application. So leading to a less than ideal experience for our users. Now, to improve this, you can either reduce the total amount of JavaScript in your application or only load the JavaScript that is needed for the current page or for your application. So yeah, issues with hydration. Well, the fundamental problem in this hydration, like I said, is this thing that it can cause delay between visible and interactive page. So it would lead to poor user experience and during this gap. And of course, because users, you can see the elements, but they cannot interact with your application yet. So how to solve this hydration overhead? Well, like what I said, we can either reduce the amount of JavaScript in our application, maybe do partial or progressive hydration, or maybe just to completely do away with hydration. And perhaps just do this thing called resumability. So yes, this is where the Qwik comes into the picture. So Qwik has been called the resumable framework. So it renders server-side HTML to optimize performance and completely removes the hydration step that other current frameworks use. So here I have an image of the time to interactive hydration of the typical current frameworks. But for Qwik, its primary premise is to serve HTML with minimal JavaScript. then only adds JavaScript as needed, and thus significantly improves web page loading performance, regardless of your site complexity or no matter how big your application gets. So because Qwik skips basically hydration, so your applications are instantly interactive. And this is accomplished by this thing, what they call resumability. So how is Qwik doing this resumability? So in a nutshell, so Qwik knows how to serialize your application, or sorry, serialize your closures. So this is the thing that other current frameworks are not able to do. And just to review, JavaScript closures are your functions that has state or data. So getting started is easy peasy. You just choose your preferred package manager. So just one of the following command, npm, pnpm. And now the latest is you can use also the bond, so which is an all-in-one JavaScript runtime and toolkit. And then the CLI will guide you through the interactive menu to set the project name, select one of your starters, and ask if you want to install the required the dependencies. So yeah, let's see a little bit of action. So here we have the homepage or the landing page of the simple Qwik app. And in the dev tools, you can see that there's no JavaScript being delivered because basically it's just really simple static page, and there's no interactivity required. And in the countering component, you have noticed that there's two buttons, alert and increment. And still, you didn't see any JavaScript being initially delivered to the browser. So you will only see the JavaScript code being downloaded when you click the alert button. And what's cool about that is that not even what's cool about this particular piece of code is that the contains alert message, it gets downloaded and nothing else. And we didn't see the increment button, that even the framework code or the whole application being downloaded. And if you noticed earlier that when you increment button was clicked, on only that particular piece of code only of the increment button gets downloaded. And of course, at this point, the framework code gets downloaded also because to update the UI. Again, like what I said, minimum JavaScript download and execution, and only as needed. And here's another thing to demonstrate how example of lazy executing code and component when your components only becomes visible when you scroll down, only when the JavaScript being executed when you see the clock there. And one of the cool things about this is that you as a developer, you don't have to do anything much in your code just to achieve this kind of loading capability or lazy loading capabilities in your component or in your application. So how does Qwik do it? So if you notice, there's this $sign here. I've put it in a box. So that's a component $sign. So whenever you see this $sign in your function or your component or your event listeners, that should tell you that this component or function or event listeners are being lazy loaded. So, and you, like what I said, you don't have to do anything much in this special in your code, except for this $sign, to make this fine-grained lazy loading to happen. So with Qwik, it just works out of the box. So Qwik has this thing called Qwik Optimizer that will run in the build whenever you are building the Qwik application, and it will search for all the $signs to lazy load. So yeah, the question is how does Qwik do it? So let's take a look at the alert button here, like what we shown earlier. So it has a click property, and this is a special character. If you notice, that's URL or QRL. In that Qwik contains all the information that the Qwik needs to lazy load and then execute. So like QRL or Qwik URL, they call it QRL, or QRLs, are specially formatted URLs that are left as attributes in the HTML to tell Qwik where the handlers of the code should be loaded from. And then also, Qwik has this thing called Qwik Loader. So Qwik Loader basically does the job of registering the global events. And so when an event occurs, you search your DOM pointing to the QRL, and that should be lazy loaded. I think they just mentioned earlier, it's just about 1 kilobyte when modified. So basically, Qwik Loader is the one that knows how to download the rest of the application on as-needed basis. So Qwik Loader uses web workers to download the small chunks of JavaScript built by the compiler. And then it is done in the background without using up the main thread. So it loads and executes the JavaScript lazily. And then another thing they have is a Qwik.json. So this is how Qwik is doing its serialization of your application, including your application code, the framework code, and more significantly, how it can serialize your event listeners. So the app state is stored in Qwik.json and in making your HTML CDN cacheable. So resumable React, or why use React inside Qwik? After all, this is a React.js. So QwikReact allows you to use React within Qwik. So the advantage of using QwikReact is that you can use your existing React components and libraries within Qwik. So this is big, like what I said, taking advantage of the large ecosystem of the React components and libraries such as Material UI, Threejs, and React Spring. So making use of the benefits of Qwik without having to rewrite your entire application, a React application. And it is SSR static components on the server. And then since it is what they say, developer-friendly for React developers, because it uses also the JSX, making it easy for React developers. So yeah, so like what I said, but you just need to add React into our existing React Qwik application. So you just need to do this npm command, and required dependencies will be installed also. It will add automatically like emotion and MUI or MUI, which you can install if you don't need them actually. But before you can use QwikReact, you need to configure your Qwik project first to use the QwikReact. Because if you don't have a Qwik app, yeah, then you need to create one first before you can add add React. So, and then if you check your project, we should know that some new folders will be generated. And the most important folder here, if you're going to be integrating your React, is the source integration /React folder. So this is where all of React components will be implemented, or packages will be used. And it starts with taking your existing components and wrapping them in a Qwikify function. So this function will transform your React components into a Qwik component, which can be used within your Qwik. So, and then which will in turn turn your React components into an island, so allowing you the freedom to fine-tune when the React component should be hydrated. So like React, Qwik uses this JSS syntax to define the HTML output. So take note though that you cannot use React components in Qwik without converting them first, or without using the Qwikify function. So the Qwikify utility function basically converts your React components into plain, simple HTML that only runs on this server. So this means that the React components are not interactive by default when rendered. So if we ask, oh, what if their component needs to be interactive? So, and therefore we need to be downloaded in the browser. So yeah, let's see that in action here. So there's a quick React demo with Material UI. So yeah, so we can make the interactive React apps without React ever loading in their users' browsers. So in this case, we have the Material UI to load React components using the Qwik framework. So when you interact with this application, you will notice that React never loads, but you can see in the dev does not appear. But we can easily add this attribute client visible to make it so that certain components hydrate when you use this certain directives, or visible on load, or other certain directives. So in the dev tools, you see that the React loaded in the browser, but only for this particular component. So this is using the Qwikify utility in Qwik to essentially turn your React components into pure HTML that runs on the server, and it can optionally make them reactive using signals in Qwik. Yeah, so that basically loads extremely little amount of client code to add your interactivity. So, like what I said, in order to add interactivity, Qwik allows you to decide when to hydrate your React components by using this client JSS properties. So this technique is actually more commonly called partial hydration. This is really popularized by Astro. And here's another directive that you can use, the movie, for example, client visible. So the use case for this is, for example, the component eagerly hydrates when it comes visible in the viewport. So like what you saw earlier with the clock. And so this is, the use case is low priority elements that either far down the page, for example, below the fold, or so the resource intensive to load that you prefer not to load them at all, or if the user never saw that element. So you don't need to execute or download that particular piece of code. And then we have the client idle also. So the use case for this is if it's like lower priority UI elements that don't need to be immediately interactive. So the component eagerly hydrates when the browser first becomes idle. Example, when everything was already run before. And then the client load. So this is the most common. So immediately, the use case for this is immediately visible UI elements that need to be interactive as soon as possible. So the component eagerly hydrates when when the document loads. And then we have this hover also. So the use case for this is lowers priority. So for the UI elements, which interactivity is not crucial. So it only needs to run in your when you need it. And then the client event. So the component eagerly hydrates when specified DOM events are dispatched. And then the last one will be the client only. So when true, the component will not run in SSR, but only in the browser. So QwikReact. So in a nutshell, the rules are you don't mix your React and Qwik components in the same file. So, and then you place all your React code inside this particular folder. So SRC integrations, React, and React folder. And then we have to add this @JSX import source React at the top of your file containing the React code. And then, of course, you have to use the Qwikify function to convert your React components into Qwik components. And then you can import them from your Qwik modules. This is how it looks like when you use it. So you need to import this @JSX imports React at the top of your file. And this is the instruction of the compiler to use React as the GSS factory. And then React and Qwik components cannot be mixed, like what I said, cannot be mixed in the same file. So here you'll see a new folder, integrations in React, where it's recommended to put all your React components. So Qwik and Qwik City. So Qwik is a resumability framework at its core. So it has this Qwik City as a meta framework built around Qwik. So it offers directory-based routing, nested layouts, file-based menus, and data endpoints. So think of it as Qwik as Qwik City is to Qwik, and then Next.js is to React, or Nox is to Vue, or SvelteKit is to Svelte. And yeah, to recap, so So Qwik introduces reusability without hydration, so providing excellent performance that scales well using the O of 1 notation. So developer experience remains good and performance is greatly improved. And yeah, Qwik offers a fine-grained lazy loading mechanism, unlike previous generation of frameworks where developers had to manually configure it to do the lazy loading. And then Qwik automatically splits the top into the smallest JavaScript chunks, with reusability ensuring serializable, it's hard to pronounce, serializable, yeah, app state, including the UI. So, yeah. So, if you have any questions, just come up to me, and yeah, grazie, reactjsday, Verona.
Amazing. Thank you, Ruby. Great presentation. We don't have time for questions, unfortunately, but Ruby will be around, right? You may have to.